like what you were saying right there.
And
Gotta try it,
we start playing
gotta try it.
our first game there for
You don't
second
try
in
it,
Alabama.
How you gonna
On
know?
Mississippi is the first game.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is Debonair 305. In this video, I'm gonna talk about school and music, a rant or something like that. We're just making content right now, and you know what I'm saying? You know how it is, the era. So, some people know me from the rap group Home Team and Poison Clan. You know, the Luke Records, 1990, 1992, and then real life kicked in, and the rest is history. But now we back in the media, and we in America. And there's a problem in America because there's a conspiracy to keep you poor. Some people say there's no conspiracy, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist. But the thing about it is, a lot of people believe that because somebody's successful, that means that that person is smarter than them, or because that person went to school more. But the thing about this, even somebody's, okay, when is the era of the small businesses gonna happen? It's not gonna happen because the internet is here and you can make a small business easier online, but the billionaires still control it. So that's a problem. They still control it. The same thing, like getting a record deal. If you get everybody want to be an artist, they want to rap. If you get a record deal, the problem there is that you are the artist, but the record label is making like maybe 30 times more money than you are. So if you make $1 million, they probably made like 30 million. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. And that's not a problem, but you have to go to them, to the power, to make real money. You can't do it on your own, which goes back to what I was saying a few minutes ago, was that you can go to school, learn business and all that all day long, but the thing is, you still have to partner with somebody that's already big, and like, you want to sell clothes. You got to partner with somebody like Ralph Lauren or somebody like that to make some real money. Otherwise, you probably won't be paying your bills. So like I said, I'm just ranting and just because, we got a little bit of wisdom over the years. I've been around for a while now. Trying to get power through wisdom, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, 360 degrees, because that's life. 360 degrees, you know what I'm saying? God, G-O-D, the beginning. Ways, wise ways, words, and actions. So, like, with that being said, like I was saying, now we making content, we got the team, we making content now, so you can see us on the internet representing, realness. Not realness like, we already graduated from a lot of things. We already been young. The young generation is cool. They doing what they do. They on TV, they on the radio, but you know what I'm saying? We just keeping it real, showing that we intelligent. Now, like what I was saying about school, once again, I add on to what I was saying, was that you still have, if you go to school and study business, say 4 years, maybe even 6 years, something like that, you're still not gonna be a billionaire. It's like a 99% chance you still won't be a billionaire. You gotta partner with somebody else. And that's not a problem. I'm not mad at that, but it's just a reality. I'm just showing people the reality. You know what I'm saying? So the thing about it is, why can't an individual, especially like the minorities, why can't they make the school system to where you can come out of there and make a business? Maybe from 12th grade, you graduate from high school and you can make a business. Like I said, you can make a business, but you're not going to make no real money unless you partner with somebody else with a lot of power. And the thing about minorities, I have nothing really against the majorities, but the minorities, I'm a minority, so I know about being a minority and the struggle in the ghetto and in the game. The thing about it is, some people are just greedy. Everybody's not racist. Some people are just greedy. They don't care about are you white or black. They're just greedy. They just want you to work for them. So the problem is with that is, like I said, I'm not saying black or white, but I'm just giving an example. Like the black culture, right? The black people in America, we're behind like 500 years because of slavery. So we're behind like 500 years. So when you see a powerful person like a billionaire or trillionaire, and everybody always say, like a lot of our parents' generation, they always say things like, why minorities can't make no real money? They're not smart or whatever. It's not that. If you're 500 years behind education-wise, that it doesn't make sense. It only makes sense that you won't be able to compete. For example, if you go to school, high school, right? Like me, I always used to skip school. I never really went. I thought it was boring. I used to just do hip hop culture and write raps and graffiti and all that madness. The thing about it is, if you go to school and you're in the class with somebody else, another student, everybody that went to school know in math class they teach you something new like every day, right? They teach you something new. So imagine you skip school for like 2 weeks, skip math class for like 2 weeks. When you come back to take the test, you'll be so far behind, and one thing leads to another. You'll be so far behind because you skipped. You will not be able to compete. You at the end of the year when you take the SAT or whatever those tests are, you're gonna fail. So that's the same thing. If we like I said, I just said, what if you 2 weeks behind in mathematics? What about are you 500 years behind in mathematics? How are you going to compete? You won't be. You won't be a billionaire. That's why the minorities are not billionaires and millionaires and trillionaires. They're not. So I wanted to say that on the video. Like I said, we got crazy. I'm just telling you the game because we've been around for a while, and we build in with the content, and we tell you out mad things. You don't have to listen to somebody and say he's not Jay-Z or nobody like that, so I don't want to listen to him. What I say to that is, eventually, when you see our videos and you click off of it to some young rapper that you like, that you think is on TV, so you want to follow them, I guarantee you, it's not a kid world. So when you become an adult and the responsibility come and you see that you're not wise at all, you're going to realize, like, damn, I should check their content out. What's up, y'all? This is Debonair 305 on another video. We're going to talk about celebrities and knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, because you got to understand, like, God wants us to have peace, but we're not building to make peace. You know what I'm saying? We're building to make negative things. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of the reality shows right now, they think it's fun. Like, the kids think it's fun to be negative. See, that's the way the world is, but the thing about, okay, the world's negative, but what I'm trying to tell people is that our natural state as humans is peace. But you say, well, why the world ain't peaceful? Even if you go back to the Christian religion, in the Bible, it says, when God, I'm talking about God, the creator of everything, the most powerful being in existence, and the person they say created everything, once he made the first person, it was peaceful. Like, the relationship was peaceful. So that's the first relationship, at least when it comes to humans. Now, after that is when it started getting corrupted. So you ask yourself, why is that? How did it get corrupted? Because of greed, jealousy, power, mostly because of greed. People got greedy. If it wasn't for money, but they still got greedy. It could have been for power, ego, anything. So the idea I'm explaining right now is that some people are savages, and a lot of times, a lot of governments in the world right now, it's a lot of the negativity and corruption going on because people are greedy and there's no peace. And the right now, it's like they don't. Okay, for example, the media, right? The people that control the media, they control the narrative, meaning the narration of the ghetto. The culture, they control the culture. So it's like, I love comedians, but if you give a comedian a microphone, not a microphone, but a talk show or something like that, and try to make him a leader for the minorities, how's that gonna work? He wanna entertain people. He don't want to be a leader. So what happened to all of the minority leaders? They all got killed. And I don't really speak on stuff like that because it's just like, why would I? Sometimes I keep it light. But we trying to have knowledge, wisdom, understanding over here. You know what I'm saying? So the thing about it is, once again, we need more leaders. We need more leaders. Everybody's like a leader, but we need leaders with wisdom, because with knowledge and wisdom, because you got to build with wisdom. You can't just build with anything. That's like building with the wrong bricks. That's like building a house with rocks instead of bricks. You got to build with the right thing, and that's wisdom. You build with wisdom, you're gonna win. You build with negativity, you're gonna lose. So the thing is, we just build in. We don't know everything, but we know what we know. You know what I'm saying? So the thing about it is, we trying to make the culture more positive instead of negative, so that things will be more positive than negative. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect, but we just building. Why? Because we're not young anymore. And when we was young, we wasn't really building. We were just having fun. And the problem is, a lot of the young kids right now, they just want to follow celebrities, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if the celebrity is not saying nothing that's going to help you or help you build, you're going to take a loss. You're going to lose. And people so into the culture right now, the way it is, and the media is controlling the culture. When I say the media, I mean TV, radio, the commercials, the companies, and they don't want. Think about it right now. Who's the minority leader? You might say somebody in Congress. You're not going to even say the President of the United States. You better say somebody in Congress. Oh, that's our leader. But the problem with that is those people, like politicians, a lot of the politicians, they're not going to save the ghetto because they're limited when it comes to power, because they might become a politician for the right reason because they want to help the community, but then when they get to that career, they realize that, okay, I have to vote with my colleagues, meaning the people I work with, because if I don't, then we're not going to have unity. So now you got Republicans and Democrats. It's a separation, and it's supposed to be checks and balances, not a separation. It's supposed to be like, instead it's a two-party system so that no one party get too much power, because then it'll be like another country, like a king instead of a president. And the president is not supposed to be a king. And with me, I'm not that political because, like a wise leader was saying one time, it's going to take unity to change things, not just a president of the United States that's black or even white that's trying to help. It's going to take all of the Congress. It's going to take a unity, because that's the way it is. If you try to build a house by yourself, you might build it, but you know how long it's going to take. But if you got unity, and you build it with a whole bunch of colleagues, it'll get done way quicker and way better, faster. So like I said, the politicians, they need unity in their career, and they're voting with each other. And what I mean is, like, Republicans go vote with other Republicans even if they disagree. And then some people disagree in the government just because they can. Like, they agree, but they'll say, no, I disagree with you, because they can, and they playing games. Some people like to play games. So that's why I think about politics, and I'm not that political because, like, the reason I just said, it's like the power. Politics is the economy of power. That's what it is. So if you want to be that, and an economy just means like a system. So if it's the economy of power, yeah, we all want power, but right now we're not gonna get any power, and our leaders ain't gonna have any power because the way the system is, and there's nothing you can do. All you can do is try to each one teach one. Try to build, listen to wise people. Some people, like I said, a lot of the young generation, or the hip hop generation, or the media generation, the internet generation, they want to listen to stars. Like, whoever is a star, they say that's my leader. But yes, your leader might be 18 years old. So you're trying to tell me your leader is 18 years old, and you 30 or 50, and your leader is 18 years old with no experience in the world. That doesn't make sense. But that's what people are doing right now. Once again, like I was saying in another video, people might not listen to me. I don't know everything, but they might not listen to me because they might say, well, he's not even on TV. But like I say, eventually you're going to realize when you get older, when you're not a kid no more, and you realize it's not a kid world, and you realize you're not as successful as you should be, and that there's a conspiracy, then you're going to want to listen to somebody that's wise, and that's our game. You know, we keep it wise over here. We keep it wise because the truth is the power, and the truth is the power, and the truth is 360 degrees. It's every dimension. So the thing about it is, once again, my name is Debonair 305. You know what I'm saying? We got the gems on the videos. We on the internet, and we got I ain't gonna say we got mad knowledge, but you know, knowledge. It's like there's a question when it comes to knowledge. Some people feel like knowledge is not important, like a lot of the young kids. But ask yourself this question: do you think God made knowledge or did knowledge make God? And nobody can answer that question. Because if knowledge was already there and existing, that's already power and information. That information could have went from one dimension to a thought to a person or to a God or whoever. So that means knowledge made God. But it could be the other way around. Maybe it was always a God there, and he made knowledge, and then knowledge made people or other beings. So yeah, so that just shows and proves that knowledge is important because it's the first thing. It's the first thing God made, or it's the first thing that existed because it made God. Either way, it's first. And then like the 5%ers say wisdom second. That's your wise ways, words, and actions. Because if you don't have wise ways, words, and actions, you might be doing ignorant things. You might be thinking ignorant because you have no wisdom, you have no knowledge, no information that's going to help you, and you're not wise. And then understanding is the best part, because that understanding make peace, understanding make things happen. Once you understand something, you go to the next level all of the time. And like I said, you got to be free from negativity and all the negative things. And I won't go into all of that, but like I say, so like back to what I was saying, I just built it a little bit, but yeah, we gotta get wise leaders and not just stars, because once again, a comedian can't lead you unless that comedian wants to be a leader and they're intelligent and wise. Otherwise, it's gonna be just a person talking that's not helping you, saying nothing that's gonna help you. And like I said, I've been around. I'm not that young. I've been around. I done made mistakes. I'm not perfect. I'm like any other person. But like I said, I realized that you gotta, like I said, you gotta have knowledge. You gotta have wisdom so you can build with wisdom. Because once again, if you build with the wrong bricks, which is what we're doing now, we're building, but we building with the wrong bricks, or we building with So it's not. There's like the parable says, if you could build $1 billion house, but if you build it on the sand, what's going to happen when the storm comes? It's going to tip over and it's going to fall. It costs $1 billion, but it's not a strong foundation. And knowledge is the foundation of everything in existence. So you have to build a strong foundation. Then that's like building your house on a rock or something strong as a foundation, not with this on the sand. And that's what we're doing right now. We're building mad mansions. It's costing billions and trillions of dollars to build it, but it's on the sand because we have no power. So that's the situation we're in right now as minorities. We 500 years behind the majorities, and people keep thinking, oh man, a politician is gonna save us. It's not gonna happen. Barack Obama didn't save us, and I like him, but then again, I like Republicans also. And as an artist, I'm not gonna choose. You see a lot of artists that choose and say I'm Republican, I'm Democrat. I'm none of that, because I'm independent. Because in this business, what if the owners of the record labels and things like that, what if the way the politics are right now, it's like it divides people. So, and nowadays, especially nowadays in this era of politics, what about if I want a record deal from a Republican? He'll be like, no, you're a Democrat, I don't want to sign you. And the other way around. If I want to, so I won't do it. Everybody shouldn't be like me, because if everybody be like me, then everybody will be the same, and that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. You need good and bad, yin and yang. You need the opposites, dynamic opposites. Not why? Because it's like checks and balances. So it's like God could have made everything one way with no checks and balances. Like it could have been all daytime the whole time, but it's not. It's nighttime sometimes. So why did he do that? Why did he make it all daylight? Because most people like the daylight better. So why? And God is all wise. Why he didn't say make daytime? Because he wanted a balance. He made animals, people, man, woman. He made balance. And that's just to say that we need balance. We got a two-party system in politics, and right now we got on the radio, we got a lot of young kids. They're giving the microphone to the young kids because people find them entertaining. And also, because of the conspiracy, they want to make the young generation into leaders at 18 years old. That doesn't make sense. And then when it's not the young kids, they want to make the comedians leaders, and that don't make no sense. Why they just don't see who our leaders are, the wisest person, a minority? See, they don't want the world to be better. You gotta be kidding me. They don't want the world to be better. You trying to tell me all these years? When I was younger, I used to always say, man, the world, there's a lot of wise people in the world. I mean, eventually it's gonna be like a paradise, and you would think that, but it's not. And you trying to say with all this technology, we can't make the world better by now? Nah, it's crazy. It doesn't make sense. But you got books, you got school, you got the internet, and nobody's building. All they doing is making our culture worse and worse and worse, and oppressing us financially so that they can get richer, and that we will always work for them. And that's what's happening right now. I'm gonna write a book about it, or I may not. I might just be on the internet. Like I said, we just building. Whoever don't want to build with us, or whoever want to, deal with a bigger star, you could do that. It's just the way you get your wisdom from. What you gonna do? Go to college? You could do that. If you don't study business in college, what are you gonna study? Something else? You could do it, but do what's fun to you. But the problem is, you're gonna need a mentor. That's the thing. You're gonna need a mentor. And some people say, oh, I can't get a mentor because what businessman is gonna teach me how to be successful? You're right. They won't. That's just a error where the young kids think that. And the powers that be they tell you that that's gonna happen or that could happen. Everybody that's successful right now be like, yeah, I had a mentor. Yeah, but that don't happen to everybody. So we do need mentors. We need books. And if it ain't books, we need wise people. There's wise people right now, but like I said, but they don't have it on a microphone. And that doesn't make sense. They don't have a microphone. The people that have the microphone are the comedians and the young kids. And that's why right now the minorities, they build their businesses, but they still have to partner with the bigger business, even a record label. And you make an independent record label yourself, and I'm saying this because that's like a popular thought with the young generation. They all want to either make a record label or be a rapper or something like that. If you make a record label to make some real money, you have to partner with the powers that be, the power structure. You have to, because they control the media, and they control the television, they control the radio. Even if you make like for example, I was talking about the record label thing. Even a bank loan. So you might say, okay, I want to make a record label. I think I know how to be a CEO. I know how to I know how to make the company bigger. At least I have a thought. The problem with that is, even if you try to get a bank loan and do it, a bank is not going to lend you money unless you don't need no money. And that's just a saying. That's just a saying that says, it's like a parable. They're trying to say, if you're already very successful, a bank will lend you money because they say, well, he already got money, so if whatever goes wrong, he has to pay us back. But if you have no money and you try to borrow, like, say, $20 million, which it probably take something like that to make an artist platinum or something like that, they're not going to lend it to you because they're not going to lend it to you. So once again, that's not going to happen. So the bank theory is gone. That's not going to happen. And it's all these record labels, it's the rich kids, the rich young kids, they own the record labels. Or their parents do. And once again, if you was born into a rich family, that's like luck. Luck is like being in the right place at the right time. When I say luck, because some people don't believe in luck. That's like being in the right place at the right time. If everybody don't have the same luck, and everybody got their trials and tribulations, everybody don't got the same luck. If you was born into a rich family, did you do that? It's possible, but that's like a knowledge that nobody has. You know what I'm saying? Nobody has the answer to that. If you was born into a rich family, was that your choice? Nobody knows. So the thing about it is, everybody don't have that luck. And but once again, we need mentors. We need knowledge, wisdom, understanding. We need that in order for the minority community to become more successful. But like I said, they don't want things to change, or especially the politicians. They just want power. Some of them want to help, but when they realize that's not the game, then they change it. They change it around. And right now, so basically, you can check me out on my videos. It's gonna be on the internet. My name is Debonair 305. We building, and we creators. So we coming out with mad content, and it's popping. You know what I'm saying? So we got right now. I'm just doing this rant. It's like behind the scenes, because you're gonna see this in places once we edited this and that and this angle and that angle, and it's just content for us. Like I say, we got the rap group's Home Team. We got the rap group's Poison Clan, and we about to get busy with the internet. We already, we tested a whole bunch of projects, testing all, different things like that, doubling down on what works, and that's how you get success. Stay consistent, do quality things, and like I say, even some of our behind the scenes stuff, we get a lot of views on the internet, and that's behind the scenes. So when we really get busy and we do things the really professional way, we should have more success. But like I say, right now, once again, it's a power problem that we have, and we're not going to have no power unless we get wise. Why? Because that's what make things happen. That's what spark everything. The wisdom. You have to do it. You got to have the knowledge first, because for somebody to call you wise, you have to have knowledge. That's why knowledge is first. Some people say, how you figure knowledge is first? Why it's not whatever word you want to use? Why it's not patience or something like that? Because knowledge is what makes things happen, but you have to be wise. Because you may have information in your mind, but if you're not wise, you might end up in prison somewhere doing something wrong. So you have to be wise, but before somebody can call you wise, you have to have knowledge. So that's why knowledge is first and wisdom is second. So once again, we just building. Right now, we just building on this content, and I'm just on a rant right now, just telling you mad knowledge, just that'll help you. And once you see us on the internet, then you could subscribe to us and look at our, give us views and all that, maybe comments and all of that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Debonair 305, and I'll see you on another video.
4K take 2.
What's up? This is Debonair 305. On this video, I'm talking about knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I'm just rant because we're doing behind the scenes content. And I said on a different video that the minorities, we need success, we need power. And the greedy people in the world and the racist people, they trying to oppress us like in history. And it's a bad situation. But we gotta have wisdom and build with wisdom so that we can get some type of success, make some small businesses, and help put the money back into the community. And that's what we need to do. Right now, we're doing that now. It's just that the problem is, once again, you got this power structure that's gonna be like, hey, these kids is wise, they got knowledge. And they're gonna try to say, well, they're not comedians or young kids, so we're not gonna really give them a microphone, but they can. You can't stop the truth. And that's what we're dealing with right now. 360 degrees, that's life. We're dealing with the truth. And you can't stop the truth, because the truth is the power, and the power is the light. You know what I'm saying? So you can't, that's what we're dealing with right now. We're dealing with 360 degrees, all angles, all dimensions. And right now, see, you have to have a strong foundation when you're dealing with success. Right now, okay, let me go back to what I was saying. We have to.
Cut. You have to add you on. 4K take 3, aperture 4.5.
What's up, y'all? This is Debonair 305. In this video, I'm going to talk about knowledge, wisdom, understanding. We're going to talk about the foundation, which is knowledge, because knowledge is first. You got to have knowledge before somebody consider you wise. Also, that power, not the truth, which is the power, because the foundation is the power, and the truth is what makes you go to the next level. Once you know the truth, it's like a young kid. If a young kid, they don't have experience, so they don't know the truth. They look at things for what they appear to be, not what they really are. So we must have a strong foundation, because otherwise it's like we're building $1 billion house on the sand, and what's going to happen when the storm comes is going to shift over and fall. So that doesn't make sense. So the thing about it, like I say, I'm building and destroying with positivity, because what happens is you can build and destroy with negativity, but that's the problem. That's like satanic, and you either doing what God wants you to do, or you either doing what Satan wants you to do. I know it's a Christian concept, but how I understand it, it's negative and positive. They just have their own spin on it. So if it's, like I said, and I don't really follow anything because I'm not a follower, but I believe in a lot of principles, GP, general principle, you know what I'm saying? So the thing about it is, like I say, I build and destroy with positivity, because if I destroy something, it's to make something better. It's not just to destroy because I'm negative, like some of the politicians want to do in this era. They want to destroy things just because they demons, and they want to make things negative. They devils. And somebody would say, well, why would you call somebody a devil? Because if you're doing negative things, if you're oppressing people and doing negative things, then if we're all God's children, would God tell you to do something negative to some of his other children? He wouldn't do it. That doesn't make sense. And you call your parents because they made you. So who made right? And supposedly, let's go with the Christian God, he made everything, or she, whatever you want to say. The Christian God made everything. So what that means, that's our parent. So would your parent tell you to hurt or some of your other kids, which were all God's children? No. So you're doing a satanic thing, and you're satanic, and you believe in Satan, or you following Satan, or you're doing Satan's work, which makes you negativity and a demon. So the thing about it, like I say, I was just letting you know that concept, basically because if you're gonna build and destroy with positivity. And like I said, people, there's a lot when it comes to the minority community, there's a lot of knowledge that's lost because of slavery. Like, we're 500 years behind in success and finances and things like that because of slavery. And like I said, sometimes it's not a white or black thing, it's just a greedy thing. Like, why would you want me to always work for you when it's about balance? That's not balance. Well, every generation work for you. That's not balance. That's like saying why God made night and day. God made, you know what I'm saying? God ain't make just all daylight. And most people like the daylight better than the night. God knows that. Why wouldn't he make it all daylight? Because he wants balance. And it's not balance for you to rule all of the time, but every generation you rule. What about some intelligent young generation? They come up and they want to make new businesses and new technology and all of that. Why even the media is being controlled by the same people that probably was controlling the media 100 years ago. So you're trying to tell me nobody's intelligent enough to do what they did? No, they are. It doesn't make sense. They're oppressing us. They're using control. They're controlling us through the media. And the media is TV, radio, and all those things that the minorities can't afford. Because we can't get bank loans and things like that to be able to do that. And we were not born into money, into success, like just billions and trillions, and we're not born into that. So the best thing we can do is get wisdom and, build our own communities. Put money back into the community when we build our small businesses. I learned about small businesses in school. They were saying it was an era where you could make your own business and make a living off of that. That ain't happened since then. If that was even real, what I was reading, I don't know. But why we can't do that now? That's what the young generation want. They want to build their own businesses. They want to be all CEOs and own record companies and own companies. And it's not going to happen. So like I said, you could build this WN305. if you could build with me or you could rock with somebody else, you might want to rock with somebody else more famous, but if they're not saying nothing that's going to help you or nothing wise, you're going to take an L. You're going to lose. I failed a lot. That's why I know a lot. And yeah, we building. We doing making content. This right now is behind the scenes content. This might not be the official video, but it's gonna rock. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get it rocking. So the thing about it, like I said, we got our music coming out. We got our content coming out. Internet content. We got Home Team, the rap group. We got Poison Clan, the rap group. And we're gonna build, and we're gonna keep building and keep having fun with it. You know, we are entrepreneurs. We all been around. We all know what we know more than when we was young, younger, and we're making content. Once again, a politician is not going to save us because they have limited power. A wise man was saying a politician is like a manager of a company. You're not even the boss, you're a manager. So the manager's mad limited. They could just delegate things and say do this, do that, but they can't. They don't own the company. They could get fired. So that's the thing about a manager. And a politician is like a manager. Yeah, they're the manager. They got more power than you, but they could get fired. So that's the way it is right now. So we can't rely on politics to change our situation. We have to rely on wisdom, which I keep telling everybody. It's cool to listen to things and not follow, because if you don't doubt anything, then you're a follower. You have to doubt certain things because you can't believe everything somebody say and say that's true. You gotta put it in your mind and build on it, and then see, does it make sense to you, or is it right or wrong? Like I say, I'm not perfect. I don't know everything, but I know what I know. I've been around for a while. Now the thing is, like I say, we're gonna have the #1 content company in the game because we're building it. You know what I'm saying? We're building our empire off of art, whether it's music or content, and that's what we're doing. Debonair 305 Home Team, the rap group. Some people know me from, or know us from my song "Pick It Up," Poison Clan. People know them for songs, but this time we was kind of young when we did that on Luke Records. But this time we're gonna do something a little more updated business-wise. But back to my rant. Like I said, we have to get power as minorities in this world, and the way the school system is to just keep you poor. A lot of the young kids complain and say, why they're not teaching us how to make a business? Why they're teaching us even history? History is very important, but it's important that they gotta teach you. You know how much history they teach you in school, and none of it helps you. History is supposed to be taught so you don't make the same mistakes. One, so you can know something good about yourself or know some type of truth, and #2, so you don't make the same mistakes that they made before. And it's not working that way. It's just something, people just learning negative things about their culture. And then they start to think that we need to partner with somebody, which is true. We got to partner with the power structure, but they try to make us think that we can't be the power structure when we lost a lot of our knowledge from our ancestors through slavery. Even if it wasn't the best religion before slavery, it probably still has some gems in it, like how to build pyramids. That's a gem. Why we can't do it now? And it's so crazy because they say all the scientists in the world can't figure out how did the ancient people build pyramids. They still don't know. And those people, what they did, they took the thoughts out of their mind and brought it into reality, and that's creating. That's like a miracle, because your mind is a whole different dimension than the physical world. Why? Because you can do mad things in your mind that you can't do in reality. So that means it's a whole different world. So if you bring a thought from your mind into reality, then you're a creator. And it's like we're being made, we're like gods nearly if we can create like that. But it's so much going on, like in the media, and everybody want to be a star and this, and everybody want to do ABC and be like a rapper or whatever. They're not realizing the real power. It's kind of like giving a toddler, a little baby, $1 billion check. They're gonna throw it away. because they're not mature enough to realize it's valuable. Anyway, yeah, so like I say, but we need power, and I say let's get power through wisdom. Each one teach one, build the empire, and y'all check me out more on my next videos.
4K, take 4. The brightest the lights could get, the closest it could get.
What's up, y'all? This is Debonair 305. On this video, I'm gonna just talk about wisdom, just like a rant, behind the scenes content, about to get busy on the internet and make an empire. You know what I'm saying? Everything culture. Because we're gonna talk about minorities, majorities, politics, religion. Even like when it comes to politics and religion, a lot of people don't really understand the concept of it. But when I look at it, it's not about politics and religion. To me, it's about Satan and God. Who's doing negative and positive, good and evil? Who's doing the good thing? Who's doing the evil thing? There's a lot of things that have me in my mind about like political issues. But like I say, I know if somebody's oppressing somebody else, I think that's wrong, because we're all God's children, and God would not tell you to oppress his children, do something bad to his other children. And according to the Christian Bible, which like I said, I quote it sometimes, because just because a lot of people say that was given, once again, a lot of people say, why would you even quote the Christian Bible when it was given to us by our oppressors during slavery? The thing about it is, that doesn't mean there's no truth in it. That just means it gave it to you. If you walk down the street and somebody say, hey, I'm having a nice day, here's like $200, you're gonna take it, even if you're black and they're white, you're still gonna take it. So you try to say the money wasn't good because they gave it to you? Well, I'm trying to say, you try to say the money wasn't good because that person was white. So that means the money is no good. You don't want it, you'll throw the money away. Nah, that doesn't make sense. I understand the theory, yes, you're right. Some people say, why would they give us anything good when they never gave us nothing good before? Why would they give us the Bible if it was good? I'm just defending why I quote the Bible sometimes, because like I say, I love the concept. My favorite thing about the Bible is the concept of good and evil. The Ten Commandments is not bad either, because it's mad old, but it still makes sense to this day. For it to be thousands of years old, they still say don't kill, don't steal. That's still the right thing to do today. So it got to be some type of power behind that. It's the truth. Don't rob, don't steal, like I say, and don't kill, and others. So that's that. And then like I say, just because, and I like the way they broke down the concept of good and evil. They gave it a name, God and Satan, but it was a concept that makes the most sense in the world. Because once again, a lot of things come down to good and bad. A lot of things, like I say, the media shows us so much other madness in the world that's important, not that serious. Like, once again, I love comedians, but a comedian is not a leader. So we so busy listening to entertainment and trying to be like the young rappers that's 18 years old that they put on TV and the radio. You got like 50-year-old, 60-year-old people following 18-year-olds that have no experience, don't even know what real life is like as an adult. They just saying what they know, or what they think they know, or what they think that they should say to sell music. So like I said, once again, no, I don't follow this and I don't follow that because I'm not a follower. And I have doubts when it comes to any type of knowledge, or any type of organized knowledge, because like religion and things like that, coaches and stuff like that, because if you don't doubt certain things, that means you're a follower. And if you want to be a follower, that's cool, but I'm going to doubt everything. But once again, like I said, I found gems in the Christian religion. I found gems in the 5%ers. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so I just defended my, what I think about, wisdom and things like that. My name is Debonair 305. We're on the internet. We're making an empire off of media. You know what I'm saying? We started in 1990 making records. now. We still making records right now. We got new material coming from Home Team, the Rap Group Home Team, Rap Group Poison Clan. We also got content coming on the internet. We got books, we got wisdom, we got podcasts, we got interview shows, we got everything coming because we building and destroying with positivity. And that's the best way, because once again, if you building and destroying with negativity, then you're just doing what a devil would do. So why would you call yourself righteous? And I'm not perfect, so somebody might say I'm not righteous, but I try to do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I try to do what I believe what God would do instead of what Satan would do, and what the devil would do. Once again, like I say, a lot of things ain't about black and white. It's more about greed. Everybody's not racist. Some people are just greedy and they want you to work for them in every generation. Why does every generation work for the same people? You trying to tell me they that more smarter than us, that we got to work for them every generation? It's some companies that started 100 years ago and they still the trillionaires today. So why we got to work for them? Why are they not teaching us? They control the schools because the government control the schools. So why the government don't build the schools or the curriculum in a way that we could come out of there and get financially right? We could come out of there and make books and make our own schools and things like that. Because once again, if we don't own anything, minorities don't own anything. And when a minority make a business, even if you go to school for 4 years to learn business, 4, 6 years, or whatever, you got to come out and partner with a billionaire or a trillionaire. Their company that's been around for 100 years that's oppressing people through the media. And like I say, sometimes they're not racist, they're just greedy. And greed, we know, greed is, as long as there's power, there's greed. As long as there's money, there's greed. From day one. As soon as, it probably was greed before that, but it was more like thoughts. Now it's more greed, like for money and power. And yeah, like the thing about it is, some people say, well, what do you think? What's your ideal situation as far as if you could make the world any way you want? What would you do? I can't think of everything right now because it rain, but I will say the schools got to be better. The politics should not be a competition, and the people that control the media and all that shit control the media for hundreds of years. Why other people, for balance, why other people can't come along and make their own spin-off, not for negativity, but make their own spin-off and make their empire, their media empire work for them or work for our community, the minority community. Because the problem is, they don't want no competition. The billionaires, they don't want you to come out of school and make a business because they don't want the competition. I understand that, because if I had a business, I wouldn't want no competition either. But I would not do the evil thing to keep the competition away. Like I won't do a murder to keep the competition away. That's the problem with the dope game. That's one of the problems with the dope game. There's more problems than that. But one problem is they don't want competition, so they do negative, evil things to make sure they don't have no competition. But that's the same thing that the minorities is doing to the majorities is doing to the minorities. So you're doing the same thing they doing. And you call them devils, but you don't call yourself a devil. But just, like I said, that's just GP, general principle. So like I said, I'm just ranting on this. My name is Debonair 305. We just make an empire. We got 360 degrees of knowledge. We're not perfect. I don't know everything, but I've been around for a while, and we build them right now, making content. We're gonna edit this. It's behind the scenes. This might not be the official copy, but we behind the scenes. We making moves in the game, showing you game, teaching you game. And that's what we got. We got the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? You got to have knowledge before somebody considers you to be wise. Otherwise, you can't be wise without knowledge. That's why knowledge is first and wisdom is second. Understanding. You know what I'm saying? If understanding is seeing the big picture. Because some people only see the little picture. But you have to see the big picture in life, because take like an example of a puzzle. If you got a puzzle, like a 100-piece puzzle, and you don't see the picture of it before you make it, you can't put the puzzle together because you don't know whether it's a picture of an airplane or a building. You don't know what it's a picture of. So you have to see the big picture, then you can put the puzzle together. And right now we're not seeing the big picture, we're seeing the little picture when we're dealing with the media, and like I said, the media meaning the TV and the radio and the newspapers, if they still around, and different things like that. And yeah, so we gotta talk about all types of wisdom like that. My name is Debonair 305, and I'll see you on the next video. What's up, y'all? This is Debonair 305. I want to say what's up to Van Walter Films, building the empire off of content. You know the era, you know the style, you know the knowledge, wisdom, understanding. We got that 360 degrees, which is life, and we're building and destroying with positivity. That's Van Walter Films. Y'all check it out.